Over the last 9 episodes, we covered chart patterns, indicators, volume, moving averages, momentum, Fibonacci, VWAP, sector rotation, and watchlist building. Today we put it all together. This is the workflow. 3 ChatGPT prompts that run in sequence. Every single trading session. Not one of these tools on its own. All of them in order, each feeding the next. Because here's the thing most traders miss. The edge is not in knowing what RSI means or what a golden cross looks like. The edge is in running the same process on the same stocks at the same time every day. That is what separates an insight from a system, and systems are what compound. Let us build yours. Most traders have all the individual pieces. They know what RSI is. They can spot a flag pattern. They understand Fibonacci levels. The problem is that they use these tools in isolation. No sequence, no order, no defined process. An oversold RSI reading gets a buy. A chart pattern catches their eye and they pull the trigger. Volume spikes on Twitter and suddenly they are in a trade with no plan. The results are random because the inputs are random. The systematic trader runs the same 3 prompts every session. Sector rotation first, to find where money is moving. Full technical stack second, to find the specific setup. Trade plan third, to define how to take it. The process does not change. The execution improves, and that is what compounds over time. The first prompt finds where to look. There is no point analyzing a stock in a sector that is being sold off by institutions. You want to be in the sectors where money is flowing in, not out. Here's the prompt. I'm doing a technical analysis session for today's date, based on current market conditions, which sectors are in the early to mid rotation phase right now, meaning they are starting to outperform the S&P 500 on a relative basis, but have not yet peaked. For each sector, tell me where it sits in the sector rotation cycle, early, mid, or late. One ETF that represents it with the ticker. 2 or 3 stock names within that sector showing relative strength versus the sector ETF. Then rank them, strongest relative strength at the top. What ChatGPT gives you here is a starting point, not a final answer. You are looking for 2 or 3 sectors that are early to mid-cycle. You already know from the sector rotation episode that late cycle sectors are crowded, everyone sees them. The opportunity is in what is rotating in now, but has not yet made headlines. If ChatGPT names energy and industrials, you now have your hunting ground. You are not looking at 500 stocks. You are looking at maybe 20. That is the power of sector rotation as your first filter. One note, always verify ChatGPT's relative strength claim against a real chart. It cannot browse live data, but it will give you the right sectors to research, and it will explain the logic. Use that logic to confirm against what you actually see on the chart. Now you have 2 or 3 stocks from your sector rotation scan. Pick the one that looks most interesting and run it through the full technical analysis stack. This is the prompt that synthesizes everything we have covered in this series. I want a complete technical analysis of this ticker as of today's date. Cover all of the following in this exact order. 1. Trend. What trend is the stock in? Use the 50-day and 200-day moving averages. Is the 50 above or below the 200? What does the slope tell you? 2. Momentum. What is RSI doing? Is it above or below 50? Is MACD showing a bullish or bearish crossover? Is it diverging from price? 3. Volume. On the last 2 or 3 significant moves, was volume confirming or contradicting price? Name a specific day if you can. 4. Chart pattern. Is there a recognizable chart pattern forming? What is the pattern telling you about the next likely move? 5. Fibonacci. From the last major swing low to the most recent high. What are the key retracement levels? Which level is acting as support right now? 6. VWAP. Is the stock trading above or below its VWAP? What does that tell you about who is in control, buyers or sellers? Summarize everything in a single verdict. Bullish setup, bearish setup, or no clear setup. Confidence level 1 to 10. This is the most important prompt in the workflow. What you are doing is running every tool we covered in a specific sequence, from big to small. Trend first, because trend is the context for everything else. Momentum next, to see if the trend has fuel. Volume to confirm. Pattern to give you the shape. Fibonacci to find your levels. VWAP to see where the smart money is. When ChatGPT comes back with a verdict and a confidence score, you are not just taking its word. You are using it as a structured checklist. If it says bullish with a 6 out of 10, you look at what dragged the score down. Maybe volume was not confirming. Maybe RSI is already overbought. Those are the questions you want answered before you put money to work. If the stock does not pass this full stack check, you move to the next one on your watch list. You do not force a trade. The process told you to wait, so you wait. The third prompt turns analysis into action. This is where most people fall apart. They do the analysis, they like what they see, and then they wing the trade. No defined entry, no defined stop, no target. That is not trading, that is hoping. Here's the prompt. Based on the technical setup for this ticker we just discussed, build me a complete trade plan. Include 1. Entry. What is the ideal entry price or entry condition? Breakout above a level, bounce off support, pull back to the 50-day. 2. Stop loss. Where would this setup be invalidated? Give me a specific price level and explain why that level matters technically. 3. First target. Where is the first logical profit target? Based on chart structure, resistance level, Fibonacci extension, prior high. 4. Second target. If the trade continues working, where's the next target? 5. Risk to reward. Calculate the ratio based on entry, stop, and first target. 6. Position sizing. If my total account risk per trade is 1% and the distance from entry to stop is X%, how large should my position be? 7. Invalidation in real time. What would you watch for during the trade that would tell you to exit early before the stop is hit? Give me this in a structured format I can paste into a trade log. What you get back is a complete document. Entry price, stop, 2 targets, risk to reward ratio, position size, and the conditions that would tell you to get out early. Everything you need to take the trade intelligently and manage it in real time. The key piece is field 7, real-time invalidation. Most traders set a stop and do not think about it again until they are stopped out, but the chart is speaking to you the whole time. If volume dries up the moment the stock should be accelerating, that is information. If it fails to break the level on the 3rd attempt, that is information. ChatGPT will give you the conditions to watch for based on the setup it identified. Run these 3 prompts in sequence every session. Sector rotation to find where to look. Full technical stack to find the setup. Trade plan to execute it cleanly. Most traders have all the individual pieces, they just never build them into a repeatable sequence. That is the difference between someone who occasionally catches a good trade and someone who consistently performs over time. Individual insights are random. Systems are repeatable. And repeatable is what compounds. Systems compound. Individual insights do not. If this series gave you a new way to think about technical analysis, subscribe. Thursday, we start something new. The same AI-powered approach, but this time we are writing actual code. See you then.